Hey everyone, welcome back to Bros and Shows. I am your host, Josiah, aka Mauler67, and with me, as always, you know I got my buddy, and I got my pal, I got my brother Austin. Austin, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good too. I can't really complain. You know, just a normal another day to enjoy. Watching, playing, hanging, you know, all the good stuff. Can't really complain. Took care of some things around the house today, which was good because they needed to be. And with it comes the ability to relax a little bit. Yesterday I was like, okay, just got home. I'm going to eat and I'm going to play some games. Like I want to play some games. I haven't got to play games in a bit. I got home, I ate, laid down, fell asleep until 11 o'clock at night. Whenever I woke up at 11, I was like, well, I'm in bed now. So I just went to sleep. So I slept from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And I was like, must have needed it because gosh darn, could I not wake up? And so today I wanted to do stuff. So whenever I got home, I cooked some of those brats you gave me. I think I cooked the firecracker one is the one I cooked first. And then I rearranged the house as they were cooking and everything to make room. I'm setting up like a table downstairs in the dining room or living room-ish area for like the Warhammer stuff that me and Terry do. I just want to have a nice little area that I can like paint, model, put together stuff, save it, like have all that stuff down there, so I don't have it just taking up room in my upstairs, like in my actual room. And since most of those pieces are very like delicate based, I don't want them just lying around because Molly spends a lot of time up here and she won't do it downstairs. She'll only do it when she's in my room. She'll knock over things to get my attention, and so I want to have that set up for down there. So other than that, pretty good. I think everything got pretty good. I can't anything other than that. Austin, how about you? How was your weekend?
Well, you came home for Easter, so
Yeah, I kind of forgot that was this weekend.
Yeah, you forgot about all that stuff.
Oh, did you get the item? Not yet?
Not yet.
Yeah, have you guys put the code in to see where it's at?
Yeah, we did. But actually, what's really funny is our landlord actually had a spare key.
Oh, thank goodness.
So they gave us a spare key. So we got a lot of stuff in the basement now. So like, it worked out. Don't worry, guys. Like, we figured it out.
Just for context, I was helping Austin the day before I was leaving, or the day I was leaving, and he asked me to put some stuff in the basement. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll put it down there. And I must have had I had the bowls in my hand, I think, and I couldn't carry them. So I put the keys in my pocket and then left. And I remember locking up the basement with the key, and then I must have put it in my pocket then. And I got all the way back to Pittsburgh. I pulled out my keys, I dropped it on the floor, and suddenly there was an extra key there.
Oh, like, the
oh,
basement
no.
key. It's okay. It worked out. It was fine.
It should be on the way. It said it was supposed to get there by Wednesday, but technically it's a 2 to 3 day shipping. So
gotcha. No worries.
Yeah.
It's not like, we're good. We have another basement.
You
key
have
now,
at least
which is
something.
good.
Which was something I actually thought about doing, was taking the key and making a duplicate of it, just in case it got lost in the mail. I could be like, still got a duplicate, don't worry about it. But I YOLO'd it and sent it through the mail system anyways.
Yeah, that works out. It's okay.
As long as it gets there, it'll all work out.
Yeah, I was cooking lambus bread, the Lord of the Rings bread. And yeah, that happened. And then we had Easter, which was good. It was fun. You got to see the D&D movie. So we got to see that with my mom and my buddy Colton and a couple of his buddies. We all went and saw it at Marcus.
A lot of my pedantic side of me wanted to really point out flaws and issues with the movie, but then there was also the side of me that's just like, bro, just enjoy it. It wasn't that bad of a movie, actually.
Yeah,
that was my life.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. So but overall, that was pretty much what's been going on, really. Just having to deal with stuff still going on with my washer and dryer. Don't know what's going on with it. So I think we're going to think about getting a new unit or something like that or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll figure it out by then. But yeah, a lot of fun. So
that's what it is, man. And that's kind of like how life goes. A lot of ups and downs and mess ups. So speaking of ups and downs, mess ups, and some in between, Austin.
Yeah.
This week, we watched Disenchanted Season 2 at your behest. We're halfway through the series of Disenchantment. That is currently out. I think there's more coming out sooner or later. So yeah, let's just dive into it. Austin. This is your, fourth, fifth viewing, you said, last week?
Fifth. Yeah, fifth.
So you like this season a lot, or what was your thought process on this season versus the last?
So I do like the season better than the first season, though. I will say that I do enjoy this season more. There's a little bit more episodic episodes sometimes, where they're not focused on certain storylines, and they have new characters pop in and out. And then, I think one of the biggest things that I like is King Zog's character in this season. I think that he becomes I think he becomes hilarious in this season. But it's not my favorite season. I'd have to say probably season 3 is my favorite season. But season 2 is still solid to me. I enjoy it. I know that, what you were saying last week, where I was wanting a Futurama, and I get that. I totally get that. I think this is Matt Groening kind of just being hey, I can do a full story with lore and everything. And it's this intertwined story that goes along with each other. It's not episodic. I forget what it's called. But yeah, I enjoyed this season a lot, actually. There was a lot of, what's really funny is going back and rewatching this season after knowing what happens in the newest season is actually kind of funny. So they point out there's a lot of foreshadowing and hidden stuff in this show that lures into the secrets of some characters, which is pretty funny to me. So yeah, but yeah, what did you think of this season?
Geez, a lot happened actually in this season. But the show had a little bit of an issue of solving all the issues. I don't want to say solving all the issues, but making the issues not mean anything at different points, which was fine. Because here's the thing: I view types of shows two different ways, right? If I'm looking at a show like Family Guy or Futurama, I expect by the end of the episode that the problems are all solved. If I'm looking at a show like we can say I don't know, Barry or something like that, if all the problems are solved at the end of the episode, it will feel weird and out of place. This show felt like it was trying to do a series, season thing, and then how they would do it is they would solve the issue at the end of the episode to introduce a new problem that wouldn't be solved until the next episode. And I'm why don't you just scooch it over to the side just a little bit and we'd be fine, oh no, Bean finds this dragon flyer guy. She saves the guy. Beginning of next episode, she kills her dad. And then it's oh no, dealing with all that stuff. Do that instead of making the last episode being ooh, she shot him, whoa, cliffhanger. And it's yeah, I get it, cliffhanger, it's going to come up, what?
Yeah.
And I felt that a lot in this season. I honestly like this season more than first season, I think, because they weren't introducing people as much, and they were kind of reusing a lot of characters in the season. I think Bean's becoming a better character because she's no longer just focusing 100% on drinking. All the time we see her, she isn't drunk. Lucy got a huge character increase, character development that they haven't really dived into it because he kind of reveals it at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with that next season. And Elfo got a little more jaded. like horrifically a lot more jaded.
Yeah.
And that was fine. Like that was okay. Like they don't need the super happy-go-lucky character all the time.
Yeah.
I did feel like King Zod got more character development, but the issue I have with Zod is that his character development is outweighed by his stupidity.
Yes.
So like he'll like grow a little bit and be like, oh, I really need these people, or blah blah, I'm like really lonely, or I should be nice to these people. And then the next episode be like, I'm gonna freaking blow up the town because it would be funny, y'all. And it's like, but your people's in the town. Yeah, but you know, for the gram. Like it's just, it is semi frustrating with how much that is.
Mm-hmm.
They also left certain plot hooks kind of open and unexplained. That I'm like, okay, obviously that's going to be important later in some way.
Yeah, so, there's a big one, like the episode where like the elves actually ingest like the sewer water.
Oh yeah,
and they all get sick
poison and everything. They have to go get the lemons.
Yeah, when Elfo gets the berries. You know, it's like, hey, don't trip over that, Elfo. And the one girl goes, Elfo.
Yeah, no, that's totally. They've already explained what that is. Like, that's obvious. Like, you also gave a hint last time that I'm like, that kind of leans to it. Because I think Elfo is going to be half ogre or half orc or whatever those things are. And the reason why is because the hint you gave me last time was we've already met someone who's related to Elfo. And just so happened that one of the son to the king and queen is the orc that got his eyes stabbed out by Elfo. And I'm like, okay, so that could be his cousin, and then the queen could be his mom. And because she's the only nice ogre, she didn't try killing them or eating them or anything. And then she was the one who was surprised upon the reference of the name Elfo. So I'm like, it could easily be her. The other is the trolls or whatever that got introduced. When they said like, we're trolls, I was like, wait, didn't we already have trolls? Aren't they like ogres sized or something like that? It's like, oh no, I guess they're naming them two different things. Because gosh dang, trolls, I do not think of that like elf like creatures when I think of trolls. And I also don't think of like pixie level elves either to be fair. So there's a lot of that stuff, right? So no, they got that. I meant more like the octopus thingy that what's his face raises accidentally. Like that's kind of held up, like it could be labeled that that thing's still alive. Everyone from Steamland just kind of like accepted it, and so it's like that's going to be another big thing.
Yeah.
Just like little stuff like that. It's going to be interesting to see how much of it is actually like meaningful or like specifically important. So yeah, let's I don't know. I don't know what to say or talk about in this season. To be fair. Well, I don't know if there's anything you specifically want me to talk over.
You know, there's not too much to talk about because it's pretty straightforward with this. I will ask you this though. What did you think of the whole Zog and Bear thing? Like him, like the relationship stuff that was going on with that?
I was disappointed in the ending. So, funny fact, I actually know what episode I stopped on in this show, and it was the episode after that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's as far as I got, because I saw on my Netflix, it was like, continue watching, and then it stopped right there. It was like halfway through. So it was around there that I stopped watching. I liked the introduction of the character. I liked how they kind of connected and fell in love and whatnot. I liked that Zod chose to like set her free type deal thing. I did not like yawn. I don't know.
Yawning, that's part of Stynus.
Stynus, yeah.
Stynus.
But I didn't like how she just kind of like left him and ran back to the forest. I'm like, they could have at least had her say something like, you know, I'll always love you, blah blah, and then run off. Or even make her like a reoccurring character still, because like she wants to live in the forest. It doesn't mean that she has to be a one-off character, which, you know, they could bring her back easily. I really wanted her to be like, hey, I'm here every episode, but you know, it's canon. I do not live in Dreamland. I live in the forest, and I come to live with Zod and be with Zod at different points in time and leave. Like, just give Zod some form of companionship, because he was pretty happy with her. And whenever she left, I was kind of like, well, I guess she never cared about Zod, which is, I mean, make it more of a known thing. And they didn't really do that very well.
That, and like, we got to hear Phil Lamar do a voice. Hermes.
Oh, Hermes. Yeah.
Yeah. Phil
Sorry,
Lamar.
when you use a name like Hermes, that does not narrow it down.
Oh,
because
creepy
there's
UPS guy.
The god Hermes. There's the character Hermes from Futurama. There's Hermes.
Whoa, you got the package?
What is he? Who he voice?
He plays the guy that actually controls the flaming dragon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was him. Yeah, it was him. Like, I was super excited because I love when like they bring Matt Groening brings old voice actors from, like, you know, his shows that he's done before. He brings them into this, like, you know, John DiMaggio's in this, and like Billy West.
That is one thing we have to talk about John DiMaggio for a bit, but keep going.
Yeah. And, you know, Phil Lamar was on here. And then I'm trying to think the other person that I know really well that's on here. It's weird, though, because, like, every season, I think that a certain... Oh, and the girl that played Amy Wong was in this season, too. I forget who she played, though. I don't remember. But the one that I always like mistake myself for, that I think that she's like voicing in this show, and then I look at the credits, I'm like, oh, she wasn't even in this episode. Okay, she hasn't been selected. That's the voice of Taranga Leela, which is Lauren. I forget her name. She was from
the woman from.
I'm drawing a blank.
That one, like one where she's like the wife and she hates the husband
Married with Children.
because he always sits. Yeah, that's it. Come on,
so
Molly.
Yeah. But yeah, I always think that she's in it, but I don't think she's in any of the seasons, actually, which is very interesting. What did you think of the whole being sacrifice thing? Like, her, like, being this thing that was supposed to wear the crown? Like, through this 5th playthrough, I actually caught a joke that was, like, blankly in my face the whole time. But I never noticed it until I took time to rewatch this, like really focus on this. Was the part where like they go to put the crown on her, and you hear like the I forget his name, like Jeff or whatever his name is. Jerry. He's like, oh, you know, like, well, I'm gonna try it. And he's like, we've already tried it like before, and that's why you're like this, you know, little human.
Yeah.
Like this little kid, and I didn't notice that. But like No, because like he has like the poke.
That was super obvious.
I never noticed it.
They even say like it's there's even the point where it's just like, you just killed our younger brother. Like, it's like, you're the youngest now.
I think sometimes like I forget like to focus on things. Like I have a problem with focusing on certain jokes, and then I'm like, oh, I rewatch it. I'm like, oh, hey, I get that joke now. Like, I think that was one of the jokes that like got past me, and I just never looked into it. I just was like, oh, okay, whatever. Maybe this is like some type of joke that I'm not getting. So I kind of was like, oh, okay. I did like Barry's one episode with King Zog, where you know, it was only him and the pig that were alive when everyone was stoned. That was so funny when they were just like, he's gonna come save me. He's like, no, he won't. And he's like, bacon. Like, I thought it was such a great line. So
I mean, when you're hungry like that, you'll do whatever.
Yeah, really, right? Oh man.
So the one thing I wanted to say about John DiMaggio is there was a lot of references to Futurama in this season that I know just from Joe DiMaggio's quotes. When he goes to swing at those orcs, and this is why I'm bringing this up, he yells, "Bite my shiny metal axe."
Axe.
Which is a joke on what Bender normally says.
Yeah.
And there's also another one where I forget what it was, but he basically like yells out, "Let's go already!" Just how Bender does too.
Yeah.
And that like he did that a couple times. Also, did you catch the reference in the Steamland?
No, I don't think. No. Farnsworth Alley.
Yeah, Farnsworth Alley.
Yeah, Farnsworth Alley, man. Super stoked about that. That when they said that, it's like I'm trying to get to Farnsworth Alley. It's like,
you actually see it earlier than that on a billboard. Whenever they're all talking, so
it's really funny. I love shows that do that, where they like reference other shows that person was in. There's a TikTok meme that's going around right now with Jeff or Joel McHale in his new show Animal Control.
Oh yeah,
and he's like reading a book or something. He's like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, "I took Spanish in community college."
He's like, it's El Niro, and it's just like I think it's called like El Nido. And he's like, no, I know what it is. I took it in community college. And then he looks at the screen.
Yeah. It's like a fourth wall. All right. Well, you keep talking. I'll be right back because I got something going on. So.
Right. Okay. Well, dang, I didn't know. I thought you were leading that conversation or whatnot. And I was, like,
I was. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, I got to go somewhere real quick. So I'll be right back.
All right. No, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. So remember.
Yeah, no. So to be fair about this season, I do like it better than first season. There are a lot of characters that I enjoy that are making kind of a return. Like the little grippy guy who freaking like touches everything. Love that guy. I don't know why, but he's hilarious. Wish he would do more. The episode of Bean doing like the play and not being allowed to do it because she's like a woman. It was a fine episode. I cared more about the Jitterbug, which I think it's called the Jitterbug. It's called Jir something. The cafe / poem place that she goes to, and the one little girl who drinks so much coffee she's stunted her growth. I like that. I wish there was more of that kind of stuff happening. Just too much of it was kind of episodic. I did totally know that her mom was going to come back and be important at the end of this season. I kind of wish they would give another issue. So they did the Steamland, and I was kind of disappointed how they just kind of ended it with that. They did not go into detail. They did not go into much information about it. I thought at one point the Adol, the what do you call it? The advisor, I guess is what he is. I thought he was going to, be the assassin, and he has all that connection, but they basically didn't really go for that. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that out some other day. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking in Disenchanted. I think Disenchanted is. I think the characters are pretty entertaining. I like Lucy. Lucy did a lot. Elfo got better in this season. Like I said before, Zod's kind of about it. And unfortunately, I didn't feel like we got a lot of episodes that was able to make them kind of shine and grow. I did notice that Lucy, after he lost his immortality, basically took it upon himself to kind of avoid all problematic interactions that he could have. So whenever you're looking for that or seeing that's like a good character thing. Like, oh, okay, he's avoiding that to the best of his abilities. Don't go into anything about Elfo's past. I assume he's going to be an ogre or he's going to be a troll. One of those two. Logistically, I think he's going to be a troll more than he will be a ogre, because at least when he comes to a troll, the size difference isn't that big. But if they want to make a joke about the idea of like size difference marrying or not marrying, they could easily go with an ogre and just wing that. Oh, that's another thing. Another thing that the show kind of threw away and was a one-off kind of setup thing is the functionality of Dreamland. This idea that, hey, when you're in the castle, your dreams are more stronger, they're more potent, something like that. We never see that actually take effect, other than Bean just not being able to sleep very well and keep seeing her mom and stuff like that. I totally thought that was going to be a thing. Like, I thought that was going to be a brought forth setup that was going to be like a reoccurring thing, because the idea of being like born from Dreamland, her mom specifically marrying Zog just to make her. We don't have any of that information yet about why it had to be Zog. Why didn't she just marry some other person who would be all for her? I assume it's going to have something to do with Dreamland itself. I don't know, man. I wish they would have continued that to some degree and built it in a little more. I don't know how you say it. I don't know. Let's see it. Let's interact with it in some way, or let other people be aware of it as well. Because apparently it's only Zog and Beanie, and everyone else doesn't really notice it all that much. I wish they would. I did. I'm jumping around the characters now, and that's unfortunately what my brain's going to now. Because we did at least see Elfo grow a little bit after his father died. I think that was pretty meaningful. Hey, Austin, welcome back.
I'm back. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good. I was just kind of ranting about the mixture of like characters and just like plot points or whatnot that they kind of like left open. One of the things I mentioned was the Dreamland effect, like the idea why she lives in the castle, or why people are in the castle, their dreams are a lot realer or more real or something to that degree.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the setup for one of the episodes, and then it kind of got thrown away. And I'm sure that they'll bring it up again. Like, it will be beneficial and meaningful. But if it doesn't, then I'll be kind of disappointed, because like that seems to me like what that seems to me like what the show should be kind of based on. If this is where they're from, if Steamland is literally a steampunk world, why is Dreamland called Dreamland, but it's just another medieval kingdom that with idiots,
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I assume they're going to be important, be beneficial in some way, but in this episode, I felt really kind of frustrated that they just kind of left that bin and no one else ever mentions it again. I'm like, come on, man, just a little more. That's all I ask.
Just a little bit more info. One of the episodes that I really enjoyed this season actually was the episode where Elfo and all them are part of a play.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that one too, because that's the start of the episode was her not being able to sleep. Yeah, and she went out there. That's where the whole dream sequence happened. I also pointed out that I liked the Jitterbug. Like, I liked the character, the one girl from the Jitterbug. Yeah, but that was a situation that was a one-off episode in the season.
Yep. No,
I don't know what to say about that. It's just kind of like, all right,
well,
that's it.
And I can't really talk too much about stuff like that, because the thing is like there is certain key points that happen in later seasons that I don't want to get mixed up on this season, because it will ruin the other season sometimes. With the reveal that that certain things happen. But yeah, I remember that episode very well. because the ending of the episode is very well done, where it's pretty much like Zog going into the bar and hearing Beam talk for the first time about like her feelings and how she felt when like her mom betrayed her and
Oh yeah, and
like
actually,
what she thinks of her
listen to
dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like it's one of those moments that like it kind of remind me of the moment where like Fry and Leela when what's the episode of Futurama? Oh, it was the robot hands episode where he switches his hands and and at the end of the thing he's still trying to learn how to play it, but it's not the greatest thing, but he still knows like how to make a Leela and a Fry kiss.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that in a weird way. Like it was
I
more
got
of
nervous
like that.
and I started thinking about netbooks. That's why I always think about.
By the way, I brought a human. Yeah, those were good lines. I like those where it's like, oh yeah, would you make me do this? And he's like, oh man, I'm gonna like promote you to this next demon level. And he's like, haha,
Yeah,
sucker.
okay, no, that was a funny gag where he kept like betraying them, and he's like, you're so evil, get an upgrade. Oh, you're so evil, get an upgrade. And I'm just like, this demon is stupid. And he's like, if you leave here, you'll lose all your powers, no your immortality. And I'm just like, okay, why didn't he do that in the very beginning? Okay.
Yeah.
Evil man, people.
Yeah, it is what it is. Lucy gave up his immortality. Kind of deal.
Yeah, which I mean, I already told you that it's going to be interesting next season if they plan on that, which I assume they will, because as I was mentioning while you were gone, after Lucy gave up his immortality, he just so happened to never join Bean on any of her things. She basically avoided anything that could get him hurt. Yeah. And he started like drinking all the time, and that made complete sense to me. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, if you just became moral after being immoral for so long, you're going to be like, I'm not going to do any of that stuff.
Yeah. What was? Well, yeah. The part that I remember the most, like one of my favorite Lucy lines this season, is when the elves are dying. He's like, "All right, are you gonna come with us, Lucy?" And he's like, "No, there's a lot of old rich elves that need my help around here."
I also like the fact that he was straight up murdering them more during the process.
Yes, he was like,
here, use this rat to cover yourself. Yeah, drink
water. Oh man, yeah, this season's interesting. Season 3 though, like when we go into here, one of somebody's storyline changes like very highly. It's weird. It becomes a really weird story to me. It's interesting, but it's a different tone for this character. I
was accidentally almost about to watch the first episode of season 4 or season 3, because it just auto started playing, and I was like, that felt like the end of a season with the whole mom breaking them out and then falling into a pit and everyone thinks she was and I was like, I better check, and it's like Ep 1, and I was like, I was right. Better quickly stop watching that. And it turned it off.
It's hard because Netflix just like straight up just auto plays you no matter what. It will tell you how many. I think Netflix tells you how many episodes you have left before you end the season.
I don't know. They just show you the episodes in a season for me. And I find it like, I'm like, yeah, no, this is all good. This is all fine. I can just pay attention. Plus the fact that they're all 10 episodes each season makes it really easy to keep track. I just have to look and be like, okay, this is episode 8. 2 more episodes. I finished the last episode maybe an hour ago. Whenever I was, I was looking at it, and I was like, okay, I got the last episode, I better just quickly do it. So I was sitting there watching it while playing Cult of the Lamb, which felt oddly fitting actually for some reason. I can't say why. But yeah, okay. sorry, I just saw it and I thought about it. Jerry, the guy who plays Jerry, that's the voice actor that I heard him and I went, hey, there's him. I don't see him in a lot of stuff because he's a British actor, voice actor. And whenever he started talking, I'm like, he sounds familiar. And then that's when I looked it up and I was like, yep, that's him. Awesome. I got really sad when he got killed. I was actually kind of upset. I'm like, man, I want him to be more of a like important thing, but he wasn't. Didn't.
No. He just hit them where they were.
I just hit them where they were going, not where they were at.
Oh man.
Yeah, I did find it funny that that was their youngest brother, which explains why they kept him around and they were so familiar with it. It also makes me like I know how the series is probably going to like a point in the season is going to be is that Bean will have to wear that crown at some point and it's going to unlock some powers in her or something like that will like I don't know, invoke in her some powers or something like that, because like we know that she has some form of dark magic inside of her that they're trying to pull out, and that their family owes the demons a what do you call it,
a lot of money, like a lot of like souls or something like that.
They owe them like they owe them a big debt is basically what she said. And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah, no, that makes complete sense. Set that up, go with that, right? And so I assume that crown is going to be something where it like allows her control over like demons or something to that degree. That's where my brain's going to, just because in the picture with her, she has the crown on, she has like Lucy on in her left hand and a sword in her right hand. And so I'm like, I feel like it's going to be either she controls demons or that crown is actually like the reverse, like it's going to be used to stop demons or something like that. Like she's going to be a hero in some way. That's all I know. Don't know what that means. So yeah, I think that was pretty solid. Also, it's very obvious that her mom's kingdom is the kingdom that killed the one sand people.
Yes.
Like it's super obvious. Like it's over to the point where they even show like the whole serpent messengers and everything of that sort coming through, and it's like, yeah, that was from them. So it's all part of a plan. It's all part of something. It's like, okay, let's see how this goes. It is funny to me that her mom is so hell-bent on this, and I love the fact that there's the point where she's like is she on trial or what is she doing? She was doing something and she's just like, Una was this, and it's just like, Una was bad, and she's like, no, Una was actually good. Like, no, she turned everyone to stone. No, that was my mother.
No, that's
like,
my mother.
No, your Dagmar said it was Una. It's like my mom's like, oh yeah, that's the poetry episode.
Yeah, that's the poetry episode. Yeah, on the stage.
Yeah, and when she's like saying all that stuff, and you just realize how stupid everyone is. It's also, sorry, this I just thought about this. You know how we were mentioning about Lucy trying to kill all the elves? Meanwhile, in the episode with Zod with the bullet, they were all doing the same exact thing. So maybe Lucy wasn't trying to kill all the elves. Maybe he was just like actually like just being like, hey man, water's good for you, dirt's good for you, get some dirt in that wound, you'll be fine. I doubt it, because Lucy seems to be more educated than like anyone there.
Yeah, most likely.
It was super frustrating to deal with how stupid so many of the people in the Dreamland Kingdom is.
Oh yeah, and like you know, like I die every time I see this in this episode where like they find the gun. Oh yeah. And Zog just starts cracking nuts with the gun. And they're looking down like the barrel of a gun and stuff, and I'm just like,
they're all putting it in their mouth to like blow on it and everything.
Maybe it summons dragons.
I was expecting them to like hit the nut and then like it shoots off, right? That's what I thought was going to happen. But then how they played
Well,
it
same when I watched for the first time. I was like, that gun's gonna misfire sometime.
I was also saying that I thought Deval or whatever his name, Adval, the assistant dude, especially since he wanted to become king and whatnot. I thought he was going to be the assassin sent by the Steamlands. Because unlike everyone else, whenever he had the gun in his hand, he uncocked it, like he like looked at it and everything, pulled out the receiver, looked at it, cocked it, like put it back and then placed it in there. Like he knew it. He was knowledgeable of what that object was. But the sheer fact that like, I mean, there's even that point where he's on trial in the trial with them, and he refers to it as a 6-cylinder, fast receiving wand or something like that.
Yeah.
Like none of them would know that that's a 6-cylinder fast receiving pistol or something like that. But instead he just says wand instead of pistol. So I'm still kind of like on this boat that he may know more than what he lets on, or like he is the assassin. But then it did make sense for him not to divulge that whenever he's talking with the one priestess woman who is Seymour's mom, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Because I hear her, and she also made a reference to Seymour, to her character from The Simpsons, whenever someone was like asking why they have to like spread lies about Tirabini, and she's like, "Cause I say so." Like I forget what she says, but she says it in the full-on Seymour shut up type voice, and so I'm like, that's obviously who that. So yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
I'm interested in seeing what other voice actors are in this season that I did not catch or I was not keen enough to hear or understand. But we'll see. I still want to know what Derek's whole thing is going to be about, like what he's going to grow and become. And I still feel like he's kind of the Ralph Wiggum of this show, which is kind of being semi-stupid, but he was actually kind of smart in the episode, the last episode, at least to a degree. Like he was able to be like, I need to think about this, I need to come up on it, but he was still an idiot, and he still like refused to listen to Bean whenever she was like kind of talking about everything. So I don't know, he's kind of 50-50 for me right now. Oh yeah, just saw her, and that's what makes me Una.
Oh,
love
Una,
what
and,
she
like, her
became.
story?
I love the fact that she
just
became a
this
pirate. Yeah,
so good.
It's like it makes complete sense that she's a pirate. She's a seafaring.
That's the other thing. I don't know.
Back.
I must have like missed it. If I missed this or whatever, did you realize like the captain that was of that ship before, like he found something, but I don't think they reveal what he found.
Oh, you
like
you mean
says,
in the yeah, he said he found something there. He found something very important there on the island, in Dreamland. Yeah, but didn't go, which is why all the elves are staying there.
Yeah,
like that's the whole reason. Like they didn't reveal what he found. They just said that he found something there, which obviously so, like, I think the elves want to like protect. You know?
Yeah, this is why I like the show after season 2 a lot, because right now what Matt Groening did and what he intended to do with this season was to get every character out that they could to explain what's going to happen soon, and they didn't want to go through like another, like, hey, we've never been to this place, so we have to describe it, like, Bean's been to hell, Bean's been to Steamland, we've seen people go to the forest, we've seen, was it the volcano?
Yeah, we saw the volcano in season 1. We also saw what's his face, where Bean's mom's from. I forget what it's called.
I forget. Marie.
They've been jumping around. My only issue is I'm kind of confused at the concept of Dreamland. Is Dreamland a country, or is Dreamland like the whole world? And we are just in the country of Dreamland on top of that. Because anytime they say they're from Dreamland, people know where they're from. But then it's like, are they connected? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm so confused by that.
No, I'm still confused by that. And like they don't really explain it later on at all. It's more of like I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's just a village. Maybe it was like one of the first villages or something like that. I don't know that. And then it became like different people left Dreamland or something. I don't know. They haven't explained any of that yet. So hopefully they explain it, like why people know Dreamland exists. Like why is it a big deal? Like how do you know what Dreamland
and then the
is?
fact, like, how do some people know it exists but others don't?
Yeah.
Like Steamland knows that Dreamland exists, but Dreamland does not know Steamland exists. Why is it that Dreamland is so behind in technology and whatnot? Oh, I will say one gag I did like about Steamland is whenever Bean kept calling the stuff correctly on what we on Earth would call it, and then the guy kept correcting her like differently.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's
I'd
like
be a science
light
test.
ball. It's like a light bulb. It's like, yeah, a automatic light
Torch.
electric torch or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is this? Some submarine? It's like, it's an electrofish.
It's an electrofish. Yeah, I forgot about those like cute little cat gag like quips. Those things were funny.
I
forgot all about that.
I like it whenever that's kind of like the joke and the setup, because you know, to be fair, how time thing would work or how medieval stuff would work is it would be in the mindset of like what it's called is not what they call it.
Yeah.
So like I always point this out to the people whenever I play D&D or like on the DM, and they're just like, well, I want to, is there what was it, I forget how I named, like I named something, and they were like, wait, is this just a like I totally forgot what it, basically I named something differently than what we named. He's like, wait, it's just this? And I'm like, yeah, it's just that, but they don't know what it's like. They don't have what that term is based off of, you know? They wouldn't know that, so they call it something completely different. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense actually. Like, yeah, cool. Like a kind of like a telephone, right? Yeah. I'm like, they wouldn't say call me or something like that, because the idea of a call or a telephone is like foreign to them. I don't know. I have to figure out what exactly it was that I said, because I definitely had that before. So yeah, I like that, and I like that they kind of poke fun at that in that episode. It was pretty entertaining to see. Yeah, okay, so what I think is probably going to happen next season, okay, well, first off, I'm going to say this may not happen next season, but it's going to happen eventually, and I think that's the whole point. One thing I noticed that this show does is that it will introduce points in season 1 and not touch on them in season 2. And then I'm like, okay, are they going to touch on these parts in season 3 or season 4? Like, when is it going to be a thing? Right? So, like, first thing, Elfo's lineage, I'm pretty sure he's half orc at this current point. Half orc, half troll. Troll would make more sense because trolls are small like them, and it would make sense, and they're mortal enemies to elves, apparently. Orcs would also make more sense, and I think they would be a funnier aspect to say that, yeah, his dad fell in love with an orc woman who turns out to be the queen, had Elfo, and had to brush Elfo away of its own way. They did point out that he has green skin, so maybe the green skin is important. I did not look at the ogres all that much to know if they had green skin. Same with the trolls. They didn't really hit on that. Bean's infernal background, then again, her mom showed up in the season, so maybe that's going to be explained more. Crap, man. Dreamland, like there's so many little things that they left open that it's like, what of? You know, what the heck will Derek be important for? You know, what are all those little symbols all around Dreamland? Like, what are those little things that the mom obviously placed everywhere?
Yee.
Will Zog die? I hope not, but it would be pretty funny if he died and then like Dragon Ball Z his way back in some way. Or he dies, goes to hell, and then they have to go back down to hell and rescue him out the same way that they rescued out Elfo. Like, I feel like that could work pretty well as well. I'm still waiting for Prince Charming to get his body back, because I would love to see Matthew Berry do a little more talking interactions. Cause, man, do I like that guy's voice. I don't care. Side note, when's the next season of What We Do in the Shadows coming out?
Usually it comes out every July. So, like, we got 2 more months.
That sucks. I wouldn't notice them. I mean, that's all I really gotta say. Well, they think you specifically want to talk about or say about?
No, not really. Like, I think this season's pretty cut and dry. There isn't a lot of like explanation on things. Like, it does set up some other things, and they introduce Steamland, of course, which, you know, don't if they go someplace a certain time or they go to a place a certain time, they'll probably go back. Like, that, just always remember that kind of stuff with any show. You know, if they introduce like a world, they'll probably go back to that world. You know, so like,
doesn't bother me. Like, I assume it's going to be a thing. That's why I said, like, are they going to answer it now, or are they going to answer it?
Yeah, like after this season, I really think that this is when one of the best writings of the show up. Like, season 2 is better than season 1. I think season 3 is way better than season 1 or 2. But I love season 3 and I love season 4 really much. Well, a lot. So, you know, I can't wait for next week, because I want to know your opinion on one of the storylines that happens. It cracks me up, because I'm just like, this was a whole season of this person doing this thing, and like, I'm here for it. And like, some people I know weren't fans of it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I think it's one of the most hilarious things on there. And then where they go with it in season 4 is even better. I just think like it just gets a little to a point where it feels like the people started having fun writing this show. Like, they started coming up with these weird, kooky, crazy things that they could do now, because, you know, the difference with Futurama is, like, Futurama, there's still like this basis of like, has to be a little grounded. It can't be like these crazy things all the time. Like, they can't come up with these crazy creatures or whatever thing like that, because people would not watch it. But this is like a D&D action, so it's like, let's come up with the crazy stuff.
I disagree. In Futurama, there was crazy stuff all over.
There was
so much. Austin, they literally had a blob creature who ate people, and they were perfectly fine afterwards. Or, that is one thing I did find funny. Percy I-8, where was the king of the orcs. That was hilarious to me. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, if they brought him back as royalty. No, let me rephrase that. What I mean by that is, like, I think maybe Futurama was a little bit contained with their characters. Like, they had to act a certain way. Some of these characters change. Yeah,
well, that comes with the territory of episodic versus like series based.
Yeah, so, and I really enjoy one of the changes of one of my favorite characters, so I'll see how you feel about it. I'm actually pretty excited to see what that storyline holds to your value, or like what if you think it's funny, or you're just like, this is stupid, and then I'll have to explain myself next week of how funny I thought it was. But I'm pretty excited.
See. Because we got another week of it. Also, if you notice that I've been like looking down a lot, it's because like a long time ago I got these rabbit pelts from someone, or I bought them or whatever a long time ago, and I put them away and stopped like pulling them out or whatnot, because Molly, my cat, would periodically snatch them from anywhere they were at in the house, and I would wake up with them in my bed because she thought that she was being a hunter, hunting and killing these things and bringing them to me. And so I found them because I was reorganizing today, and I'm like, oh, Molly may like these as like a little comfort thing to like lay down or whatnot. I placed them all up in her area, and she has just this whole time, the last like 10 minutes that we've been talking, just grabbing them and bringing them right in front of me and then walking off and grabbing the next one. So I have like 2 of them now. And I'm like, okay, obviously I'm going to have to like do something with this because she's just chewing and like doing the death like thing with it where she'll like buy into it and then like shake her head real quickly to get it killed. And I'm just like, Molly, they're dead. Like they've been dead for years. Calm yourself,
like me.
Stop, they're already dead.
Oh my gosh. Hey, a Matt Groening reference.
Yeah, hey, look at that. More jokey jokes. So much jokes on this channel. All right, Austin. Well, I think that basically does it for this episode of Bros and Shows. Of Disenchantment Season 2. Pretty good, not bad. Better than Season 1, but I think it's because we didn't have to get introduced to characters and they were able to kind of flourish more often. I think my only issue with Season 2 in a nutshell is that they jumped around a lot. And I thought we were going to get more answers. I thought it was going to be more like this issue gets solved and this issue, they're jumping around and causing more issues and having no old issues. So that, I mean, that's good for longevity's sakes. It keeps you watching to wonder what the next one done. Okay. It just she's up on top like she just threw it off.
There it is.
So yeah. So anyways, Austin, I appreciate you coming by for this episode of Bros and Shows. I am going to be here storing these away because obviously she cannot be trusted with them. So Austin, I appreciate you so much for joining us on this episode of Disenchantment or Disenchanted or whatever it's called. Disenchantment of Season 2, Austin. And next week we'll do Disenchanted Season 3. Yeah. And it'll be exciting to watch it and enjoy. So thank you, Austin, so much for joining me. Thank you all so much for stopping by and joining in. And I hope to see you guys next time.